I want all the Stephanie White apologists to come out, because it's very, very clear that Stephanie White is not the right coach for Caitlin Clark. I don't mean this when I say this. I don't think Stephanie White's a bad coach. In fact, I think Stephanie White's a really good coach. The fact that she was able to pull off a Commissioner's Cup win with the roster that they had, she is a great coach. We are not going to slander Stephanie White's ability to coach right here, but we are going to question Stephanie White's ability to specifically coach Caitlin Clark.
Imagine drafting the most electrifying scorer in women's basketball, then telling her to chill out and pass the ball. That's the Indiana Fever's game plan, and Caitlin Clark just exposed it for the world to see. If you thought the drama was on the court, wait until you hear what's happening on the sidelines. Clark just dropped a bombshell that has every Fever fan questioning if their coach is actually coaching or just holding the clipboard for show. Let's break down the confession, the chaos, and why the Fever are suddenly the most dramatic team in sports. Let's get this straight. Nobody's here to slander Stephanie White's coaching resume. She's a legit tactician, a Commissioner's Cup winner, and a respected figure in the WNBA. If you need someone to turn a ragtag roster into a playoff threat, she's your woman. But here's the twist. Being a great coach doesn't mean you're the right coach for every superstar, especially not for Caitlin Clark, who's less system player and more system destroyer. The Fever front office thought they were getting a match made in basketball heaven. Instead, they got a philosophical mismatch that's playing out in real time. White's motion offense is all about sharing the ball, running sets, and waiting for the perfect shot. Caitlin? She's about pulling up from the logo, breaking the internet, and making defenders question their life choices. The result? A team that looks like it's stuck between two worlds. One foot in the past, one foot in the future, and both feet tripping over each other. And now with Caitlin Clark's latest confession, the cracks are impossible to ignore. But what exactly did she say that has everyone losing their minds? Buckle up, because this is where things get wild. Here's the moment that broke the internet. In a podcast interview, Caitlin Clark finally said what every fan has been screaming at their TV for weeks. She's being told not to shoot. Yes, you heard that right.
New York Liberty game. During the Liberty game, let's take a listen. Not during, about the Liberty game. This is the game where Caitlin Clark hit five threes in the first half. This is the game where Caitlin was on like an all-time heater, and then randomly, she just stopped shooting. Like, that is the thing. That is the thing that happened. She randomly just stopped shooting while she was on an all-time heater. She was on an all-time heater, and she just randomly stopped shooting.
The most electric scorer in women's basketball, the player who can drop 30 before halftime, is being coached to pull back when she's on fire. Clark described the pure shooter's mindset. When you hit 2 in a row, you're supposed to let it fly. But then she dropped the line that sent shockwaves through the league. If I have 2 back-to-back in a row, I'm probably going to launch a third that maybe isn't advised by a coach. Translation: the greenest light in basketball history just got switched to yellow. And fans finally understood why those weird offensive loves keep happening. Remember that Liberty game? Clark hit 5 threes in the first half, looked unstoppable, and then vanished. She barely touched the ball in the second half. The arena went from electric to awkward, and the Fever lost the game they should have run away with. This wasn't a cold streak. It was a coaching strategy pulling the plug on a heater. The internet exploded. Clips of Clark's confession went viral, and suddenly, every Fever fan was asking the same question. Why are we caging a lion? This isn't just a minor disagreement. It's a full-blown basketball identity crisis, and the evidence is right there on the court. Let's talk receipts. The Liberty game wasn't a fluke. It was a masterclass in how to waste a superstar. Clark was a human torch in the first half, draining threes and making defenders look silly. Then, as if someone hit the off switch, she stopped getting the ball. The offense slowed to a crawl. Clark became a decoy, and the Fever's lead evaporated faster than a TikTok trend. Fans were left scratching their heads, wondering if they'd accidentally tuned in to a rerun from the early 2000s. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just a one-off. It's a pattern. Every time Clark gets hot, the system cools her down. The playbook turns her into a glorified bystander, running off ball screens and handing the offense to less dynamic players. It's like buying a Ferrari and insisting it only drives in school zones. The result? Stagnant offense, frustrated fans, and a superstar who looks more like a role player. And it's not just Clark who suffers. Aaliyah Boston, the team's dominant center, needs space to operate. That space is created by Clark's shooting threat. When Clark is parked in the corner, Boston gets smothered, and the whole offense grinds to a halt.
So I had a film breakdown prepared today, but I'm actually going to go a different direction. This is a rant because we have to talk about the state of this Indiana Fever team, and I'm here to bring the reality to all you Fever fans. This team is not a championship team. They're not a championship team. They're nowhere near close to a championship team because every team that is a championship team can play defense. This Indiana Fever team has no defense, and that's like the farthest of their problems. Their offense looked really bad today, and Caitlin Clark obviously didn't shoot the basketball well, but I'm not going to blame this loss on Caitlin Clark, even though obviously they would have won if she would have shot the ball well. My whole thing is you were up when Caitlin Clark wasn't shooting the ball well. You had a double-digit lead in that first half while Caitlin Clark was clanking every single three. She was 2 for 9.
The Fever aren't just losing games, they're losing their identity. And the fan base? They're officially in meltdown mode, demanding answers and, more importantly, demanding change.
Saying this late last year in November when the Indiana Fever hired Stephanie White. I never thought I'd be saying this right now, only 19 games into the 2025 season, that it's time for Stephanie White to go. The Indiana Fever needs to fire Stephanie White. This is not going to work. What we're seeing is not going to work.
If you thought Fever Twitter was wild before, you haven't seen anything yet. Clark's confession was the match that lit the powder keg. Every clip of her looking frustrated on the bench, every viral moment of her shaking her head after a broken play is now evidence in the case against Stephanie White. The calls to let Caitlin cook have turned into angry demands to fire Stephanie White. The front office is caught in the crossfire, with rumors swirling about whether they'll side with their high-profile coach or their generational superstar. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's a full-blown crisis of identity. The Fever were handed a golden goose, a player who single-handedly boosted ticket sales, TV ratings, and national interest. Now the world is watching as the coaching staff seems determined to pluck every golden feather. The pressure is mounting, and the next move could define the franchise for a decade. Will they adapt, or will they double down on a system that's clearly broken? The clock is ticking, and every wasted possession is another reason for fans to lose faith. This isn't the first time a coach's system has clashed with a superstar's talent, and it won't be the last. History is full of coaches who tried to fit generational players into rigid schemes, usually with disastrous results. The best coaches, like Phil Jackson, built systems around their stars, not the other way around. Jackson didn't ask Michael Jordan to become a pass-first role player. He created the triangle offense to unleash Jordan's brilliance. The lesson? Adapt, or become a footnote in someone else's highlight reel. Right now, Stephanie White is at a crossroads. She can either evolve her philosophy to maximize Clark's gifts, or risk becoming the answer to a trivia question. Who was the coach that benched a superstar? The stakes are higher than ever, and the Fever's future depends on which path they choose. Will they embrace the chaos and let Clark cook, or will they keep trying to fit a square peg into a round hole? The answer will shape the WNBA for years to come. Let's talk money, because this isn't just about X's and O's, it's about dollars and cents. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and it's measurable. Arenas are selling out, TV ratings are through the roof, and Clark's jersey is the top-selling draft pick jersey in history. The WNBA was handed a cultural and financial rocket ship, and the Fever are in the pilot seat. But every time Clark is turned into a decoy, the team is leaving money on the table. Fans aren't paying top dollar to watch dribble handoffs and off-ball screens. They want logo threes, highlight passes, and takeover moments. Every possession where Clark is parked in the corner is another disappointed fan, another missed opportunity, and another reason for sponsors to think twice. The front office and league owners can't ignore this forever. The longer they stick with the system that stifles their biggest star, the more they risk turning a gold mine into a ghost town. The message is clear. Let Clark shine, or watch the money walk out the door.
Here's where things get juicy. Some fans and analysts are starting to wonder if this coaching strategy is about more than just basketball. Is Stephanie White trying to keep the peace in a locker room full of veterans who might feel overshadowed by a rookie superstar? Is the motion offense really about team basketball, or is it a way to manage egos and avoid drama? It's an uncomfortable question, but one that needs to be asked. If the coaching decisions are being made to protect feelings rather than win games, the Fever have a much bigger problem than just a stagnant offense. This isn't just about X's and O's. It's about the culture of the team. Are they building around their best player, or are they trying to keep everyone happy at the expense of winning? The answer could determine whether the Fever become a dynasty or a cautionary tale. One thing's for sure, You can't serve two masters, and you can't cage a phenomenon. The Fever have to choose, and they have to choose soon. Here's the part that drives fans absolutely crazy. The solution is so obvious it hurts. Every possession should start with one goal. Get Caitlin Clark coming off a screen at the top of the key with the ball in her hands. That's it. No need for a 50-page playbook or a whiteboard full of arrows. When Clark comes off a screen, the defense is forced to make an impossible choice. Double her, and she finds the open roller for an easy bucket. Fight through the screen, and she launches a three. Switch, and you've got a mismatch. It's basketball 101, and it works every time. Yet for some reason, the Fever keep running a system that turns their Ferrari into a minivan. It's a classic case of overthinking, and it's costing them wins, fans, and money. The front office needs to wake up, smell the coffee, and build the offense around their superstar. Anything less is just self-sabotage.